Hi peeps and welcome back to the channel. So on today's video, as promised, I am going to be talking you through what I did in terms of gamification. So in the last video I shared with you a concept of creating a game that could get the whole class involved, in actual fact the whole school involved, in a sort of murder mystery type thing if you think about it, but it's actually just stolen property that we're dealing with. No one was murdered. And with this, it creates a buzz and excitement, and it helps people to really think about the work and go on and practice some of the skills that they have used previously. So what I mean by that is, first of all, just note reference to the previous video, when we looked at the sort of the video that I created, obviously we did that over lockdown, and we tried as best as we could to sort of have a conversation about that, but it creates and ignites this sort of the kids' brain power. They really start to wonder who did it. They'll have guesses. It's a great opportunity to have a real conversation, in that it also might bring up some prejudices. It might bring up, oh well, I think it's such and such because, you know, they're always eating treats or whatever it is. So, you know, these kind of things will come up. I'm expecting them to come up. So it's having a really good conversation about the video, breaking down some barriers, but also getting really excited about who's done it, what might happen next, and how do they solve the clues. So this very nicely leads me on to the next part. So I created a character that led them through their clues. Now, obviously, if you're doing this yourself, you may become that character, or you may just be doing it yourself. Okay. If you're in the classroom, then it's great to be able to obviously converse and help the kids out. Okay. So my very first set of clues, I set it week by week. So each day they had one clue. Now, if I was in the classroom, what I would do is I would either thread it through the, now this particular week was on maths, so I'd thread it through the maths lesson, or once they had done it, then they were able to go and, you know, maybe you had the clues cut up somewhere, they could go and get a clue, solve the clue, and be able to find their first step on their path to the mystery. So what I did for the first week, now I'm just going to fold this up so you can just see this part. I created, once again, I'm going to remind you that I created the list at the bottom. Actually, give you the bigger one. I created the list, and next to each list there was a number next to it. Okay, so the wee character that you're going to see will explain what they were to do, but obviously you'd be there as well, so it's up to you how you would go down it. But this is week 1. I'd broken it down into mild, medium and spicy. Now in the hope that, you know, some of the children that are primary 2, 3 would be able to go perhaps above the century, the decade in tens, or within the decade. I tried to make it within the decade as much as I possibly could. So clues like 20 add 4. Or 10 add 2 were the mild challenges. Now, there are some children that all the way up the school, that is where they are comfortable at, and that's where they'll go to. The medium challenge, I decided that we would go on the the times tables. So we're really practicing the times tables in primary 4, so making sure that we've got them nailed down. In the classroom, of course, you'll have all your walls that are fully supporting your children as well, and probably multiplication squares. As long as they know exactly how to get these, then they will be able to feel confident enough. You know, if they don't feel confident in their times tables, they'll feel confident enough to know where the tools are so that they can figure out the medium answer. And the spicy, I had created a challenge where it was fractions. Okay, now obviously we're going up the school, so I was not making them in this initial stage, not making them too difficult. If I was going up the school, I would probably adapt them to push them even harder, to be able to, you know, further extend their capabilities. But on this one, it was things like a quarter of a number, so that you had a quarter of, a sixth of, and I think, yeah, we went up to eighths of. But then, as we got further on to the week, we got on to perhaps 4/8. So knowing that, you know, we're comparing the fractions, knowing that that's a half, or 4/6, knowing that that's 2/3. So yeah, that's what I did for the first week, and you'll be able to see in the next part, wee Jeannie, who was the character that introduced, explaining just a little bit about what the children were to do. I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. Oh, it's yourselves. It's wee Jeannie here. So, I suppose you've heard the news where Mrs. Newton was cooking up a batch of, well, I'll leave that till later, but they got stolen. All the goodies for the teachers. Oh, it was such a shame. Machty me. Anyway, here we are. I've been trying to have a wee look and figure it out, but I can't. I need your help. Please, will you help me? Thank you so much. Okay, here's what you need so far. Do you remember I gave you the word search? Okay, your teachers will have sent you it, all right? But on the bottom, do you remember the things that you had to find? All the ones with all the numbers down it. Okay, now I thought to myself, those numbers, why are they all in different types of orders? Well, here I am, boys and girls, to blow your minds. Here we are. So these are going to come in handy. So you'll need this. You'll also need your wee list. So your teacher should have sent you a wee list like this. And this has got all your suspects. Who could have done it? All the desserts. What could Mrs. Newton have made? And all the activities. What were they doing when it was stolen? So, we've got those there. So make sure you keep a hold of this. And you keep a hold of this. Okay? I've made them extra big so I can keep my wee eyes on it, because, to be honest, without my magnifying glass, wee Jeannie can't see. Okay, so I'm going to go through your example. Okay, so this week, I'll give you a wee clue. So this week, it's all about multiplication. All right, so let's have your wee clue. This is just an example one, all right, because I didn't want to spoil it for you. All right, so here we go. We've got our first clue. We've got something loves to eat something. All right, now you might be thinking, oh, I'll just have a wee look at my list and I'll just take a wee guess. But I would advise against that. All right, so what I've got here too, I've got two sums, okay? One's named 1 and one's named 2. Okay, so for you, I'm sure you're pretty good at this, wee whiz kids that you are. So we've got 1 is 4 times 10, okay? We've got 40. All right, so we have a look. Right, number 1, the answer to number 1 is 40. Let's have a look. Can you see? Is there anybody there or anything there that's number 40? If you want to, you can pause the video and guess. Otherwise, oh, there she is. It's Mrs. N herself. All right, so Mrs. Newton loves to eat. Now, we're on to number 2. Okay, so number 2, 4 times 3. Let's see that. 4 times 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. All right. So 4 times 3 is 12. Let's go back to our wee list. So anything that has a 12 next to it, I knew there was a reason for this. I knew it was a reason. Oh, let's see. Oh, is it on this side? Is it over here? Oh, there it is. Mrs. Newton loves Oreo pots. Now, I actually have it on good knowledge that Mrs. Newton does love Oreo pots. But anyway, so that is your clue to your first, that would be your clue to your first piece of the puzzle, all right? But you've got a new one, and maybe you might be able to tick off your list. Who do you think? Are you able to tick off any of the suspects, any of the desserts, or any of the activities? Maybe not so early in the game. Anyway, good luck. I hope everything goes well, and just wee Mrs. Newton, I'm just cleaning. She thinks I'm French for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, I've got to keep up the pretense. Good luck. I hope it all goes well. Let me know. Let wee Jeannie know how it's going, and let your teachers know. Who could it be? I wonder if anybody's got any guesses yet. See you later. Bye. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. That's wee Jeannie, my own little character that I created. As I said before, you can decide whether you want to do that or not. But basically, wee Jeannie gets you to understand that you've got your clues here, you've got your sentences, and obviously I filled these in. But you've got your sentences, but then you've got your gaps, okay? So the children are to find the answer to these questions here. You get your answer, each one is 15, and then they look up, oh, what is number 15, all right? So that's how that works. Moving on to week 2, I then went into language. Now, obviously, I'm trying to think of different ways that we could do it whilst in lockdown. Obviously, if you're doing it or progressing into a specific language area that you want them to improve on, then you can use that. But we use mnemonics. I use anagrams and mnemonics. So again, we had it broken up into mild, medium, and spicy. So if we can see there, hopefully you can. So with the mild, all I was doing was just swapping out the letters. You know, I think the second and third letters is where I swapped them out. Let me just check. Yeah. I just swapped around, no, it's the third and fourth, swapped around the 2 letters. They may or may not get that pattern and look for it the next time. But again, if you are in the lower end, then you're going to, maybe you can cut up the letters and see if they can bring them all together. I would make it much more active within the classroom and having things that are tactile so that we can, or maybe if you've got like Scrabble tiles or just like blocks of letters, maybe there could be clues around the room, and just having a C and then an R somewhere else and then a U, and it's all in the right order, but they just need to look and find out where the different clues are. You could make it in picture form and having little crumbs, okay? there's all sorts of ideas that you could sort of get in the lower end. And then for the medium, we had the mnemonic. So a mnemonic is it's a way of remembering how to spell certain words. So for example, because big elephants can always understand small elephants. So you take the first letter of each word and then it becomes because. So B, big elephants, E, can, C, A, always, U, understand, small, S, E, elephants. So the only problem is that, well, the challenge that I found was actually to be able to think of something that made sense. slightly made sense. So for my clue, that was crumbs. Cows run under more big skies is what I did. So there you go. So that is for the mnemonics. And then for the spicy challenge, I just did an anagram, but I made it a lot more challenging, a lot harder. So that was really effective because, and the thing is that people can decide, well, when I was doing it in the lockdown, what I had to do is I had to put the mild, medium and spicy all up in the same place. Whereas if I was in the classroom, I would perhaps have it in pockets, so it wasn't really obvious. If you went for the medium one, then you would pull it out and you would be able to find just the medium one. But if you went to the spicy one, then again, you would be able to focus just on the spicy one, rather than seeing, you know, if you were going for the spicy one, but you saw the medium one and you go, oh, I can work that out. So yeah, it was a challenge because I had to put them all up straight away. I wasn't going to pick the people that I was going to differentiate for. They were allowed to differentiate themselves, which I think is really important, giving them that choice. And also, you know, what I've often found in class is there are some children that will just go well within their comfort zone. So sometimes it's a case where, you know, they'll come back to you and they'll say, oh, I've figured it out. Yeah, so which one did you decide? Oh, well, I decided to do the mild one. And go, oh, well, maybe next time you can do the medium one. And again, it's them knowing that they can always go back. They can always go back to the mild if they wanted it. Or if they started off at the spicy, they can always go back. Or if they started off in the medium and they go, I'm figuring this out really, really quickly, they can go on to the spicy. And it's that ability, that, you know, training that into them, that they can do that and they can, you know, really value what they're capable of, and push, you know, value the act of actually pushing themselves as far as they possibly can. So that was weeks 1 and 2. They had 1 or 2 clues to figure out per day, but basically it was 5 sentences. So 1 had 2 clues in it. 2 also has, well, it has 3 clues in it. 1, 2, no, it has 2 as well. So they would have, you know, maybe one clue a day, 2 clues a day, but it means that basically they're really excited to find out what the clue is. And if you can get that as an incentive and say, right, once you've done your work there, then you can go and find a clue, it means that they will be really keen to go and organise themselves to actually get started and do their work. Then, of course, it's about going deeper and going, right, okay, have you just rushed through this so you can get to this, or are you going as deep as you possibly can? So that was weeks 1 and 2. In the next video, I will show you what I did for probably weeks 3, 4 and 5, it was a 5-week game that we played, and yeah, so there's lots of different elements that I brought into that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, share as much as you can, guys, and don't forget to be the best you can be.